Welcome to Mission Past, where we look at archaeology and history behind video games while simultaneously trying to complete a mission. Today we're back with another Call of Duty classic, World at War, and it has to be Vendetta. The background to which is the bloodiest battle ever fought, the Battle of Stalingrad, and there is some incredible history behind this one. So will we be able to do it on Veteran? I've no idea, let's find out. World at War. 2008 this came out. Don't make them like this anymore, unfortunately. Welcome to the channel if you're a new viewer, welcome back if you've seen some of my other videos before. This channel is all about exploring the history behind video games whilst playing through them.
The arrogance of their leaders is much
I've analysed quite a few Call of Duty levels at this point, and the best place to find them is the Call of Duty playlist on the channel. Now, Vendetta. I always think the sniper levels in Call of Duty games are the best. They're the most immersive. And this beginning is a great example. I think this is the best level in World at War, but let me know in the comments below if you agree. As we play through the level, we'll be looking at what actually happened on the ground in Stalingrad on the day that this mission is set in history, and also the wider picture, why the Battle of Stalingrad took place, and what happened. But first, time to lie still, so we don't get shot by this guy. Presumably a member of the 6th Army that were in Stalingrad and were guilty of carrying out many war crimes during the war. Vendetta. The 17th of September 1942 were bang in the middle of Stalingrad. And remember that date because I'll come back to it later. But first, a bit of background, why are we in Stalingrad? In 1941, the German army's plan to defeat Russia with a blitzkrieg attack had failed, and in the process they'd lost 1 million men. In 1942, Hitler decided to attack to the south, in the Caucasus, where 3/4 of Russia's oil came from. The offensive was divided into two groups. As one army struck south to take the oil, the other, the 6th Army, headed east towards Stalingrad in an attempt to cut off the Caucasus from the rest of Russia. They reached the outskirts of Stalingrad on the 23rd of August, and as a prelude to the German attack, the Luftwaffe carried out a massive bombing raid that reduced much of the city to rubble. As the main German assault commenced, the fighting was bitter and brutal, as the Russians fanatically resisted the Germans' onslaught. And we're in the middle of that battle. I think Reznov is about to wake up. Our chum, Viktor Reznov. I've done another video on Vorkuta when he reappears, Reznov, in Black Ops.
I need your help.
Okay, I'll follow you.
Do what I say, and we can avenge this massacre.
I think this scene here, we're in a fountain, is pinched, basically, from the 2001 film Enemy at the Gates. Jude Law is sniping from a fountain in that. And remember that we've started in a fountain. I'll come back to that a bit later in the video. I've got to take Victor's sniper rifle.
Take my rifle.
Moisin Nagant. General Heinrich Amsel is made up. He's described in this mission as the leader of the German forces, but in reality that was General Paulus. He was the leader of the 6th Army in Stalingrad. And I could have sworn he looked practically right at us there, but perhaps he hasn't got his monocle in.
3 days. Luck alone has saved his wretched life. Sniping your enemy is like hunting any other animal. Fire at the wrong moment and your chance will be forever lost. Patience. If we reveal our position to Amsel's men, this fountain will be our grave.
Okay, so we're going to stalk Amsel across the battered remains of Stalingrad.
Wait until the bombers are directly overhead. The sound of the engines will drown out your shot.
I think I can get a few of these guys with the same bullet.
Shoot! Again!
One bullet left in the chamber, and I think there's a guy that comes round here. And, oh, that's a dog. And I'm not going to be able to reload.
Excellent aim.
Whew.
You are a natural hunter.
Excellent aim. No scope. With no scope. No scope required. Take the scope off. I don't need it. Only joking. Let's get out of this fountain. Right behind you, Reznov.
Armored patrol. We must find another route to Amsterdam.
Alright then. Let's go around. I think if we take these guys on, the tank will kill us.
And follow me. This way, before they discover the dead.
I'm just going to pause when we get into this building and talk about what was going on the day that this mission is set. But first, Reznov's monologue.
For days, I have crept through shadows like a rat.
In this bombed-out bar.
This place, once echoed with conversations of friends and lovers.
That's on fire.
No longer.
I mean, it's nice to have a log fire in a pub, but that's out of hand.
One day things would change. We would take the fight to their land.
Looks like they're going for the hipster shabby chic feel in here.
To their blood.
Anyway, here's an actual German army map of the city of Stalingrad from 1942. It was an industrial city on the banks of the Volga River, and many of the 400,000 or so inhabitants were factory workers and their families. The German army advanced into the city from the west in early September, and if you remember the date, the 17th of September, when I was researching this video, I actually found a reference to fighting around a fountain in Stalingrad on the 17th of September in a square near the main train station. Now, that would put us roughly here, although I don't think the developers of this level had a specific location in mind when they made the game. But coincidentally, it fits quite nicely with where the battle lines were on the 17th of September. And there was heavy fighting in the sector we're in here, which I'll come back to a bit later. Anyway, the wider objectives for the German army is to push the Russians back to the Volga and remove them entirely from the West Bank. Their specific objectives for today, the 17th, was to link their two forces in the Zoritsta River sector here. So that's what was planned for today, and I'll come back to what actually happened a bit later. But first, on with the level.
This way.
Reznov's waiting. I mentioned the civilian population of Stalingrad. They were forbidden by Stalin to evacuate from the city. His rationale was that his soldiers would fight better for a live city rather than a dead one. And they did help to turn Stalingrad into a fortress before the Germans arrived. But, of course, that condemned a lot of them to death. Over 40,000 civilians died in Stalingrad.
He inspects each German garrison every day.
So I suppose there should be some civilians in this level, but I can see why they haven't included them.
We can use this building to flank his route.
Okay, after you.
Sniper! Get inside now!
I love the way he dives in that window. Sort of like a belly flop into the window.
Son's almost got me. We'll have to flush him out before we move on.
Ah, the infamous sniper section of this level. I've been practicing. This is pretty tough on veteran. One shot and we're dead, which, to be fair, is pretty realistic. Now, where is he?
Now the game is cat and mouse. I will draw his fire. Keep your eyes open for the flash.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
Now.
There he is. Second window, I think. Right, I've got a little trick here. Hide behind this pane of glass, which will protect us from his gunfire.
It's up to you to find him now. Stay out of the light. If he fires, move.
Where is he? Where was he in the second window? There he is. Whoops. Bit slow on the uptake there. I mentioned Jude Law and Enemy of the Gates at the beginning of the video. Jude Law in that film is playing a real Russian sniper called Vasily Zaitsev, and he is supposed to have had a 3-day sniper duel in Stalingrad with a guy called Erwin Koenig, and that's what the film and the book that the film is based on revolves around. Oh, there he is. That's... What do you mean I just grazed him? I shot him, didn't I? My trick of hiding behind panes of glass has come to an end. There's no more glass to hide behind, I think.
You only wounded him.
Oh, come on. Only wounded him by shooting him in the stomach. He's not going to be doing a lot after that, is he? Alright. Come on. Patience. Patience is the key. As Vasily Zaitsev would tell you, the key to being a sniper. This is gonna... The rate my shooting is at the minute, this is gonna last 3 days as well.
Good hunting.
There we go, got him.
We'll surely have heard those shots. We need to
Yeah,
get
to be fair, there were a lot of shots in that section. Before we get moving, though, I'm just going to come back to Vasily Zaitsev. Here's a picture of him at Stalingrad. He's on the left. Dead ringer for Jude Law, isn't he? Yeah. His 3-day duel with Owen Koenig, who's played by Ed Harris in the film, almost certainly never actually happened because there's a lot of inconsistencies in the story, and it would appear that Koenig didn't even exist. But during the Battle of Stalingrad, Zaitsev killed 225 enemy soldiers, including 11 snipers. So, to say he was prolific is a bit of an understatement. Right, get them doors open, Reznov. Let's carry on. I'm a bit hesitant about this part coming up. It's pretty tough. Could die here. Don't know what that sign says. But we'll head down the stairs and over the table.
German patrol. Let them
Oh yes. Pretty sure they can see me here. I'm just going to lie on the floor. Feel a bit safer down here. I think it might come in handy as well.
They found us. We need to leave now. Hit the floor.
Betrayed by an antique clock donging.
Stay low. Try not to breathe.
Crawling underneath flamethrower flames coming in through the window here. Just keep following Reznov. Watch out for the bookcase. Now I think there's a guy that appears at the window here. Yeah. I've learnt the I've learnt the level. I've had to practice this one, it's tough. And here as well. Oh, I'm almost dead. Keep going. Need to try and get up these stairs. I think in a minute there's a... Oh, there's a grenade. Ah! Oh, never been so relieved to see a scripted cutscene before.
Here, my friend. Take my hand.
Yes!
You alive.
Let's keep going through the flames and the smoke.
Armored car outside.
Oh lord, this is what I would describe as a bad day in the office. Oh, we're through. Reznov, big fan of jumping out of windows, as we'll see later, hopefully. Uh-oh. Now, I don't know why these guys don't just kill us. Maybe they're going for the, you know, they want us to burn. But too late, sorry lads. Saved by the bell.
Dimitri, we thought you were among the dead in the massacre at the square.
No, great Russian accent. Very good, comrade.
We're about to assault the communication post north of here.
Good. Such a move will prevent the German command calling for help.
Okay, so we're about to team up with these guys to assault a German position, and that seems like a good point to have a look at what happened on this day in Stalingrad. There was heavy fighting all day, with both sides attacking and counter-attacking. In the sector where we started, at the central train station, the Germans attacked with 2 infantry companies and 20 tanks, and the train station changed hands 4 times in one day on the 17th. That sounds like some pretty heavy fighting. Further south, the 2 German forces closed the gap, and they also advanced towards the Volga, but Russian reinforcements arrived across the river and were sent to the grain elevator in the south, a huge industrial building that became the centre of Russian resistance in the south. So at the end of the day, here's where the battle lines were. And here's the line again of where they started in the morning, and so the Germans didn't make any great gains during the 17th in terms of pushing the Russians back to the Volga. And that really was typical of late September, early November for the Germans. Very slow progress and a bitter resistance from the Russians. The Germans managed to take over a lot of the city very quickly, but found it very difficult to push the Russians
Hold your
back
fire.
across the Volga.
You see the flamethrowers? You must choose your moment. Exploding the fuel tank will incinerate anyone standing nearby.
I've read that the German army often tried to disguise the fact that their soldiers had flamethrowers because they were so often targeted by the enemy because the flamethrower was such a devastating weapon. They were often disguised as normal infantry rifles. Well, that guy bought it in pretty spectacular style.
Keep covering fire to our comrades below.
We've got to provide support for our comrades attacking below. And we're trying to take the communication post, apparently, here. It's a shame it's not the central train station, because, of course, as I just said, that changed hands 4 times in a day with bitter attacks and counterattacks. Right, that's one of ours, I think. Got to be careful not to shoot your own guys at this point. What do they call it now? Blue on blue fire? I think they've rebranded the term friendly fire.
German reinforcements moving onto the left balcony.
Ah.
Keep firing.
Blimey, this is fish in a barrel. This is some pretty rapid reloading. I'm no expert, but oh, hang on, I almost died. Let's have to wait here a second, undercover. I saw a guy on YouTube reloading a Mosin Nagant. It took him about 20 seconds, so that was pretty quick, I think. Some terrible shooting. Oh, missed again. Dear, I don't think I'd make the grade as a Red Army sniper. But we've got them on the run. We've got them retreating. Now, before we go on, to give an idea of the fighting just on this one day, on the 17th of September in Stalingrad, I found the casualty list for the German 51st Army Corps. I couldn't find the Russian ones. At this point, there were about 30,000 men strong. That's just under a half of the entire 6th Army. On the 17th, 81 privates and NCOs were killed, and 336 were wounded, 1 was missing, 2 officers were killed, and 4 wounded, totaling 424 casualties just for this one day. And that was about average for the week, because in the previous 4 days, they'd suffered 1,716 casualties. And that's just the Germans. The Russians suffered even more casualties. So it's just an astonishing amount of death. Back to the game. There's no easy way of transitioning back from those statistics into a video game. I've just picked up the MP40, the machine gun, because I think we're going to need it when... Yeah, here we go. When these guys start attacking. My god, that guy blew up like a tomato. Glad to see Reznov's reaction to a grenade like mine is just to run away in the opposite direction. And then come back in. Oh, I hear dogs, and there's a grenade. Right, so MP40 out, and... Oh, man, there's nothing more terrifying in this game for me than hearing the sound of dogs running towards you. Oh, I think that's most of them. There's one guy left behind, yeah, on the right there. So, sniper rifle out. There we go. Okay, so got to support these guys below again. I think if we keep going through the doorway here on the left, there's a machine gun, rather nicely positioned, for us to give some cover. No, did he just say no scope? No scope, nice. I'm using machine gun. There isn't a scope on it. It's our brave boys below. Go on, lads. We'll cover you. We'll cover you. Oh, there's an enemy half-track with a machine gunner. Taken out. Some guys on the roof here. Oh, another machine gun on the half-track there. Oh, crikey. Oh, don't die. So close to the end of the mission. Let's just move position so they don't know where we are. And get the sniper rifle out. Now, where is this half-track? There he is. Oh. Oh. Back to the machine gun. God, there we go. Almost died. Should have just stuck with the machine gun, I think. Right, that's... Just get the crosshairs in vaguely the right area and pull the trigger. Spray and pray, very much my mantra. Oh, where's our brave boys? Our brave boys in there. Go on, lads. Take them out. I think we're pretty much done here. Pretty much taken over the communication post. There, is that it? I think that's pretty much it, is it? I don't want to fire. I think they're friendlies. Blue on blue. I think that would have been blue on blue. Yes. Just going to reload, and I've actually forgotten a cup of tea here. A second, hang on. Oh, it's cold. Anyway, forget that. Let's go. Some of that went down the wrong way. I'll play through it. Don't worry, I'll play through it. Grenade. Right, let's reload the MP40, and oh my god, where did that guy come from? That's another grenade. I think there's just one fella left, so just wait for this nade to explode. And yeah, he's just there. Have a potato masher, mate. There we go. That worked a treat. Well, this is the finale. I've got to take out Amsel now. I hope I can do it, because I was practicing this quite a few times earlier and I wasn't able to do it. So I'm hoping this run we can. Now I'm gonna swap back to the Moisen Nagant. If it's good enough for Vasily Zaitsev, it's good enough for me. There's the German counter-attack. I suppose that's quite accurate for the fighting that went on this day, with attacks and counter-attacks all over the place. I thought we took the command post. Anyway, he's coming out of that building.
There he is! See him! He's not alone! Put a bullet in his bodyguard's head!
We'll take out the bodyguard first. Now, I read that the tank he's hiding behind here is actually a Tiger II, which wasn't produced. Hang on. Blimey. This guy can kill you with one shot. Oh, God, I can't hit him at all. There we go. Got his sniper, so now I've got to go back to him. I was saying that was a Tiger II, which didn't enter service technically until 1944, so that's anachronistic. Where is he? He's against the back wall somewhere. There he is. A car will come to collect him. There it is. Right, driver's taken out, so he'll get out and go on foot. Come on, mate, stick your head up. Yes, got him. He's down. Oh, now the only thing left to do is basically GTFO as quickly as possible. So, oh my god, that's a lot of grenades. Have one back. We can just basically running now to the end. So, awesome fellas up the stairs. Another grenade. Oh! Fell at the final hurdle. So close to the end, it's just up the stairs, basically. Oh, well, there we are. It was tough, and that is mission failed. So, to paraphrase Bullseye, here's what you would have seen if I hadn't have died. Amsil comes out of the communication post, and I think I get him quite quickly this go. So his sniper pops his head out, and then I take him out. And now Amsil will run from behind the tank, and I think I get him pretty smartly with one shot. Yeah, there we go. So if you're cunning, you can take him out pretty quickly. And then it's just a case of running. So this time I didn't bother throwing back a grenade. I just hit the deck and just got out of there. And let Reznov take the lead so he can take out the guys coming up the stairs. And that's it. And then it's just a case, basically, if you keep moving, you can get through it. So up the stairs, through this attic, and then out the window here. And there goes Reznov again, jumping out a window, as is his wont. And that's the end of the level. Well, that's how it's supposed to have ended. So that's the end of the level, but what about the Battle of Stalingrad? Well, we'll finish off the story that we left at the end of day on the 17th of September when the battle lines were here. Over the next weeks, the German army made bitter and slow progress towards the Volga. The grain elevator in the south became a symbol of the battle, of the tenacity and courage of the defending Red Army soldiers. They were surrounded, and with no hope of resupply, they held it in spite of fierce German attacks for 5 whole days and nights, and when the Germans finally took it on the 20th of September, they found only 40 dead Russian soldiers inside. They were expecting far more. Coincidentally, the German commander Paulus had chosen the grain elevator as the symbol of Stalingrad for an arm patch he was having designed at the time. It was intended to commemorate a German victory, and it was never produced. Over the course of the next 2 months, the Red Army was pushed back into narrow zones along the west bank of the Volga, and this map is just over 2 months after this mission was set. This is the 19th of November. The German army had taken 90% of the city. But that's as far as they got, because on the 19th, the Red Army launched a counter-offensive against the 6th Army's weaker flanks, surrounding them in the Stalingrad area. And that's where they stayed for 2.5 months. The German army commanders wanted to attempt a breakout, but Hitler repeatedly refused to allow them to do that. As the situation for the 6th Army became desperate by the end of January 1943, Hitler promoted Paulus to Field Marshal, noting that never in the history of the German or Prussian army had a Field Marshal been captured. But on the same day, Paulus was captured, and here's a photo of an unshaven Paulus looking worse for wear being led away by his captors. And so at the beginning of February 1943, just over 5 months after it began, the Battle of Stalingrad came to an end. Around 91,000 German prisoners of war were taken, and in total in the Stalingrad campaign there were around 2 million casualties, roughly 840,000 German and over 1.1 million Russian. And depending on your definition of a battle, because it lasted over 5 months, it was the bloodiest battle ever fought. And today, hundreds of bodies from the battle are still being discovered in Volgograd, which is what Stalingrad was renamed in 1961. In terms of the Second World War, it was a turning point on the Eastern Front and the entire conflict. From then on, the Russians had the initiative and the Germans were retreating. So it doesn't really get much more epic than that. We covered a lot of history at the end there, so thank you for watching. Consider subscribing if you enjoyed it, and I shall see you in the next video.